Michael Dignan was talking this week about all the injuries, and he was talking specifically about the cruciates. But God, we've some amount of injuries, and we put it up there on the OurGame HQ Twitter channel as well. Huge responses. Like, people are obviously quite perturbed about this as well.
Yeah, but like, you know, I saw some comparisons with rugby, how you see very few kind of cruciates in rugby. A lot of rugby is kind of straight line, particularly like barring you're a winger or whatever, but you're generally running in straight lines. Hurling is kind of, hurling and football in particularly are so dynamic, and I don't know if you know, there's a lot of twisting and turning involved, even, you know, but there's been a lot of, like, in the last couple of weeks we've had David Burke from Galway, Oisin Kelly from Offaly. What other cruciates have there been? Connor Sweeney from Tip. Sure, there's another couple like
Cadell.
Cadell. Yeah, they are quite prevalent in GAA at the moment, and it is quite worrying. I suppose the load management of what they're doing in training and then going out playing games and whatever. It's never been higher, shall we say. And Dignan kind of just kind of referred to his own career, that, you know, there were very few cruciates back in his own playing days. The training was probably less. The game probably wasn't as fast as it is now. The professionalism of a game, and a game increasing in standard and quality, this is probably one of the knock-on effects of it, really. As well as that, like, in professional sport, they obviously, you know, they're not working or whatever, they're resting and recovering or whatever. It's not the same in amateur, but whereas, you know, there's a lot of professional demands on them. So there's probably a good few different facets kind of pulled into it. But it's, you know, listen, for a county like Offaly, we just can't afford, no more than Tip can't afford to be without Connor Sweeney in football. You know, you just can't afford to be without marquee men like that. And I'd be worried enough about that game on against Kerry on Saturday now, I have to say.
Yeah, like, even with injuries, like, is it the footwear? Are some lads wearing blades? Are blades more, you know, are you more likely to get injured with those than others? Are lads wearing the right boots in general? Is it a problem going from, like, long studs to short studs when you go from different types of surfaces? Because at the moment, a lot of pitches, well, over the last few weeks, they haven't been, you can't use them because you're like, geez, we have to mind the pitch. We can't destroy the pitch for the summer now, just using it for a couple of weeks here. The goal mouths will be ruined and all that kind of stuff, which we get. But then a player is going from one type of footwear to another, one surface from another, and they've been trained really hard. And who knows, like, obviously you don't have the same level of S&C and care with an amateur setup as you do with a professional setup. So there's a million and one different reasons, and it's just probably been brought to bear with the amount of injuries we're getting. And as you said, it's like, players are moving faster, they're bigger, so, but like, knees are only so strong. I mean, you can make the muscles around them stronger, but still the body is only so strong. So I mean, I think there's a lot of factors, and it's probably not going to go away. It's probably only going to get worse.
The boots is definitely one that I would look like. I've no apologies for wearing a pair of Puma Kings with long studs for my whole career, or wearing a pair of Adidas World Cups, because I just think they're a good solid kind of a boot. Whereas I think a lot of the soccer style boots now, there is no protection in them, really, like, from what I can see anyway, and particularly with those blades. Like, your grip is questionable at the best of times. I just think that's a really basic facet that probably lads could put a bit more time and detail into. I just think having, like, I know it mightn't be that fashionable, but having a good sturdy boot with, you know, proper leather in it that actually has a bit of structure to it would definitely help, help take some of the impact away from you when you're training.